The phone rang at 2 in the morning. Luca Santoro looked at the screen with irritation. Unknown number, probably a wrong number or worse, someone who'd gotten his private line and was about to regret it. He almost didn't answer, but something made him pick up. Hello? His voice was cold, warning. Hello, my name is Maya, and I'm 6 years old, and my mama is very sad and lonely, and I think you should marry her. Luca blinked. Of all the things he'd expected to hear at 2 a.m., a 6-year-old proposing marriage on her mother's behalf wasn't on the list. Excuse me? My mama. She cries at night when she thinks I'm sleeping. She works so hard and she's so pretty and so nice, but she doesn't have anyone to love her, so I thought maybe you could marry her. Can you please? Kid, I think you have the wrong number. No. You're Mr. Santoro, right? The man who owns the restaurant where my mama works? She talks about you sometimes. She says you're very handsome and very sad, so I thought maybe you're both sad and lonely and you could be sad and lonely together, and then maybe you wouldn't be sad anymore. Luca sat up in bed, now fully awake. Your mother works at my restaurant? Yes, she's a chef. She makes the pasta that you said was the best you ever tasted. She told me that made her really happy because you never give compliments. Luca's mind raced. He owned 3 restaurants in Manhattan. The pasta comment narrowed it down to Bella Notte, his flagship restaurant in Little Italy, and there was only one chef there whose pasta he'd complimented in the last 6 months. Is your mother's name Diana? Yes, Diana Washington. Do you know her? She's the best mama in the whole world. She reads me stories and helps with my homework and makes me laugh even when I'm sad. But she's sad a lot now because my daddy left us and she thinks I don't notice, but I do. Maya, where did you get my phone number? From Mama's phone. She has you in her contacts as Mr. Santoro, restaurant. I waited until she was sleeping and then I called you. Are you mad? Luca should have been mad. A 6-year-old stealing a phone and calling him at 2 in the morning. But instead, he found himself thinking about Diana. She'd been working at Bella Notte for 8 months. Quiet, talented, hard-working. She came in early, stayed late and made pasta that reminded Luca of his grandmother's cooking in Sicily. He'd complimented her once, a rare thing for him, and she'd blushed and thanked him and gone back to work. He'd noticed she never talked about her personal life, never joined the other staff for drinks after work, always seemed to be in a hurry to get home. Now he knew why. She had a 6-year-old daughter waiting for her. Maya, I'm not mad, but your mother is going to be very upset that you called me. This is my private number, but will you marry her? Please, she's really lonely, and you sound lonely too. Your voice sounds like my mama's voice when she thinks nobody's listening, sad and tired. Marriage is more complicated than that, Piccola. You can't just decide 2 people should get married because they're both sad. Why not? Wouldn't it be better to be sad together than sad alone? Out of the mouths of babes, Luca thought. This 6-year-old had just articulated something his therapist had been trying to tell him for months. Tell me about your mother, Luca heard himself say. What makes her special? For the next 20 minutes, Maya told him everything. How her mother worked 2 jobs to pay for their apartment. How she always had time for bedtime stories no matter how tired she was. How she made Maya's lunch with little notes that said, I love you and you're amazing. How she'd left Maya's father when he'd started drinking too much and getting mean, even though it meant struggling financially. She's the bravest person I know, Maya said, but she's also the loneliest and I just want her to be happy like she makes me happy. Maya, I need to be honest with you. I'm not a good man. I've done bad things. Your mother deserves someone better than me, Mama says. There's no such thing as bad people, only people who make bad choices. She says everyone can choose to be better. Can you choose to be better? It's not that simple. Yes, it is. You just choose. Every day, that's what Mama tells me when I make mistakes. She says I can choose to do better tomorrow, so can you. Luca heard noise in the background. An adult voice panicked. Maya? Maya, where are you? Oh my God, whose phone is that? Oh, Mama's awake. I have to go. But please think about it, Mr. Santoro. Please marry my mama. She deserves to be happy. The line went dead. Luca sat in his bed for a long time, staring at his phone, thinking about a 6-year-old girl who'd called a stranger at 2 in the morning to ask him to marry her mother. The crazy thing was, he was actually considering it. The next day, Luca went to Bella Notte. He rarely visited the restaurant during prep hours, but he needed to see Diana, needed to understand who this woman was who'd raised such a remarkable child. He found her in the kitchen, making fresh pasta by hand. She was completely focused on her work, her movements precise and practiced. She wore a white chef's coat with her name embroidered on it, her natural hair pulled back in a neat bun. Diana, he said. She jumped, nearly dropping her rolling pin. Mr. Santoro, I'm sorry I didn't hear you come in. Is something wrong? Can we talk privately? He saw fear flash across her face. She thought she was being fired. Of course, let me just... Now, please. They went to his office in the back of the restaurant. Diana stood nervously by the door, while Luca sat behind his desk. I got an interesting phone call last night, he said, at 2 in the morning from someone named Maya. Diana's face went from brown to ash gray. Oh my God, I am so sorry. I had no idea. She must have taken my phone while I was sleeping, Mr. Santoro. I am so incredibly sorry, whatever she said. Please know it doesn't reflect on my professionalism. I'll make sure it never happens again. She asked me to marry you. Diana closed her eyes, looking like she wanted the floor to swallow her. I'm so sorry. She's been worried about me. Her father left 6 months ago and she thinks I'm lonely and she's been trying to... She's 6. She doesn't understand appropriate boundaries. She's also remarkably perceptive. She said we're both sad and lonely, and maybe we should be sad and lonely together. Diana opened her eyes, meeting his gaze for the first time. Sir, I promise this won't affect my work. I need this job, Maya and we're barely making it. I can't afford to. I'm not firing you, Diana. Your pastor is the best we've ever served. I'd be an idiot to fire you over a phone call from a 6-year-old, but I am curious, are you lonely? She hesitated, clearly unsure how to answer. Yes. But that's not your concern, Mr. Santoro. I'm very sorry my daughter bothered you with personal matters. She didn't bother me. She made me think. When was the last time you went out, did something for yourself? I don't have time for that. I work here. I have a second job cleaning offices at night 3 times a week. And the rest of the time I'm with Maya, there's no room for anything else. You're working yourself to death. I'm surviving. There's a difference. Luca studied her, really studied her for the first time. She was beautiful, yes, but also exhausted. Dark circles under her eyes, the kind of tired that came from months of too little sleep and too much stress. Have dinner with me, he said suddenly. Excuse me, dinner tonight, not here, somewhere else, somewhere nice. Mr. Santoro, I can't. I have to pick up Maya from aftercare by 6, and then I have to work my cleaning job at 9. Cancel the cleaning job. For one night, I'll pay you what you would have made, and bring Maya. I'd like to meet her, properly. Why are you doing this? Good question, why was he doing this? A 24-hour ago, Diana had been just another employee. Talented, yes, but still just an employee. But Maya's call had changed something, had made him see Diana as a person, not just a chef. A woman struggling, surviving, sacrificing everything for her daughter. A woman whose 6-year-old was so worried about her that she'd called a stranger in the middle of the night. Because your daughter asked me to, Luca said honestly, and because she's right, we're both sad and lonely. Maybe we should at least try to not be sad and lonely for one evening. If you're invested in this story, hit that like button and stay with us, because what happens at this dinner will change 3 lives forever. Diana brought Maya to Luciano's, Luca's newest restaurant in Tribeca. It was his most elegant establishment, the kind of place where reservations were booked months in advance. Maya's eyes went wide when she walked in. Mama, this place is so fancy. Are those real flowers? Yes, baby, they're real. Mr. Santoro must be really rich. Luca was waiting at a private table in the back. He stood when they approached, and Maya ran right up to him. You came. You really came. I knew you would because Mama says you're a man of your word. Maya, remember what we talked about? Diana said gently, indoor voice, and you don't run at fancy restaurants. Sorry, Mama. Maya turned back to Luca. Hello, Mr. Santoro. Thank you for inviting us to dinner. You're even more handsome in person than in the photo on Mama's phone. Maya! Diana looked mortified, but Luca was smiling, actually smiling, which his staff would have said was impossible. You're welcome, Maya, and you can call me Luca. Mr. Santoro makes me feel old. Okay, Luca, can I sit next to you? I want to tell you all about Mama so you'll know how great she is, and then you'll definitely want to marry her. Maya, we talked about this, Diana said, her voice strained. Mr. Luca is not going to marry me. That's not how grown-up relationships work. But why not? Don't you think he's handsome? That's not relevant right now, baby. But do you? Diana's face was burning. Yes, he's handsome. Can we please order dinner now? Luca caught her eye and winked. She looked startled, then gave a small smile that transformed her tired face into something radiant. Over dinner, Maya chattered non-stop. She told Luca about her school, her friends, her favorite books. She explained in great detail about the science fair project she was working on. She described every reason why her mother was the best mother in the world. And she never complains, Maya said seriously, eating her pasta with surprising elegance for a 6-year-old. Even when she's really tired or her feet hurt from standing all day, she always smiles and asks about my day and helps with my homework. She's like a superhero, but without the cape. Your mother is remarkable, Luca agreed, looking at Diana. Any woman who can work 2 jobs, raise a child alone, and still make the best pasta I've ever tasted is definitely a superhero. Diana ducked her head, embarrassed by the praise. I just do what I have to do, what any parent would do. No, Luca said seriously. Not any parent. Many parents do far less with far more resources. You should be proud of what you've accomplished. After dinner, Maya announced she needed to use the bathroom. Diana started to get up, but Maya stopped her. I'm 6 now, Mama. I can go by myself if it's close. It's right over there, Luca pointed. You can see the door from here. After Maya left, an awkward silence fell between the adults. I'm sorry again, Diana said. About the phone call, about showing up here, about all of this. Stop apologizing. I'm glad she called. Glad you came. Why? We're nobody. A single mother and her kid. Why would someone like you care? Someone like me? Luca's voice hardened. What do you think I am, Diana? She met his eyes. I know who you are, Mr. Santoro. Everyone in Little Italy knows. You're not just a restaurant owner, you're connected. The Santoro family has been part of that world for generations, and that bothers you. It should bother me. I should grab my daughter and run, but honestly, she laughed without humor, I'm too tired to care about things like that anymore. All I care about is whether you're kind to my daughter, whether you're honest with me. Everything else is just noise. I am in that world, Luca admitted. I've done things I'm not proud of, hurt people, made choices I can't undo. But I'm trying to be better, trying to build legitimate businesses, get out of the darker parts of the life, for what it's worth. Why? Because I'm tired too, tired of violence, tired of looking over my shoulder, tired of being alone because anyone who gets close to me becomes a target. I'm 45 years old, Diana, and I'm realizing that power and money mean nothing if you have no one to share it with. Maya came skipping back. What did I miss? Were you talking about marriage stuff? No, baby. Because I really think you should marry Luca. Mama, he's nice and he's handsome and he makes you smile. You never smile anymore except when you're with me. Maya, can we at least have another dinner? Maya asked Luca. Please, just to see if you like each other. That's what my friend Emma's mom did. She went on 5 dates with Emma's stepdad before they decided to get married. So maybe you and Mama could have 5 dates too. Luca looked at Diana. What do you say? 4 more dinners? No pressure? Just getting to know each other because your daughter is relentless and I don't think she'll let this go. Diana bit her lip. This is crazy. Yes, you're a mob boss. Technically, I prefer entrepreneur with controversial business practices. Despite herself, Diana laughed. This is a terrible idea. Probably, but Maya is relentless. And honestly, I haven't had an adult conversation in months that wasn't about schedules or bills or work. So that's a yes. That's a let's see what happens. 4 more dinners, as friends, getting to know each other. Nothing more. Nothing more, Luca agreed. But when Maya hugged him goodnight and whispered, "Thank you for making Mama smile," Luca knew it was already more than friendship. For the first time in years, he felt something other than emptiness. He felt hope. The second dinner happened a week later. This time, Luca took them to a small family restaurant in Brooklyn, the kind of place tourists never found. The owner, Sal, had known Luca's father and greeted him with genuine warmth. "Luca, it's been too long, and who are these beautiful ladies?" "Sal, this is Diana, and her daughter Maya." "Diana, Sal makes the best chicken parmigiana in all 5 boroughs." Maya was less shy this time. She talked to Sal about how her mother made pasta, comparing techniques with the kind of detail that made both. Adults laugh. "She's going to be a chef like her mama," Sal predicted. "I can see it." "Maybe," Maya said, "or maybe a scientist, or maybe both." "Can you be both, Mama?" "You can be anything you want, baby," Diana said, stroking her daughter's hair with a tenderness that made Luca's chest ache. After Maya was distracted by Sal's grandson, showing her the fish tank in the corner, Diana turned to Luca. "Can I ask you something personal?" "Yes." "Why aren't you married? I know it's not my business, but a man like you, successful, handsome, cultured, why are you alone?" Luca took a long drink of wine before answering. "I was engaged once, 10 years ago. Her name was Isabella. She was perfect. From the right family, beautiful, understood the life. 2 weeks before the wedding, she was killed in a car accident. The brakes had been tampered with. It was meant for me." Diana's hand flew to her mouth. "Oh God. Luca, I'm so sorry. It was my fault. She died because someone wanted to hurt me. After that, I decided I couldn't have that kind of relationship, couldn't risk someone else getting hurt because of who I am. So I've been alone, by choice, to protect people. But you're here with us now, aren't you worried?" "Terrified," Luca admitted. "Every moment. But Maya called me and asked me to make you happy, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about either of you, so I'm being selfish for the first time in 10 years. I'm choosing what I want instead of what's safe." Diana reached across the table and took his hand. "That's not selfish, that's brave. Or stupid. Maybe both." They smiled at each other, and something shifted. This wasn't just dinner anymore, this was something real beginning. The third dinner was at Luca's penthouse. He'd arranged for a private chef. Not himself, he insisted. because he wanted to actually spend time with them rather than cooking. Maya was enchanted by the penthouse. She ran from room to room, marveling at the view, the art on the walls, the grand piano in the corner. "Do you play piano?" she asked Luca. "I used to. My grandmother taught me when I was your age. Will you play something, please?" So Luca sat at the piano he hadn't touched in years and played a simple Italian folk song his grandmother had loved. Maya stood beside him, watching his fingers with fascination. When he finished, Maya said, "That was beautiful. Sad, but beautiful. It's about a sailor who leaves his love to go to sea and spends his whole life trying to get back to her. Does he make it? Eventually, after many years and many adventures, but when he gets back, she's waited for him, because real love waits." Maya looked at her mother, who was watching from the doorway with tears in her eyes. "Mama waited for someone to love her, right? And now you're here, so maybe the song is about you two," out of the mouths of babes. After dinner, Maya fell asleep on Luca's couch, exhausted from excitement. Diana covered her with a blanket and joined Luca on the balcony overlooking Manhattan. "She really likes you," Diana said. "I really like her. She's remarkable, Diana. Smart, kind, perceptive. You've raised an incredible child." "I've tried. God knows I've tried, but it's hard doing it alone. Some days I feel like I'm failing her." "You're not failing her. She's happy, healthy, thriving. That's all because of you." "What about you?" Diana asked. "Do you want children? Or is it too late for that, given your situation?" "I thought it was too late. Thought I'd missed my chance, but meeting Maya..." Luca paused, searching for words. "She makes me think maybe it's not too late. Maybe I could be good at this, being a father figure. If I was given the chance." Diana turned to face him. "Luca, what are we doing here, really? This started as my daughter's crazy scheme. 4 more dinners, we said. We're on number 3, but this feels like more than just dinners. And I need to know what you're thinking before I let myself feel things I shouldn't feel. What are you feeling? Don't deflect. What are you feeling?" Luca took a deep breath. "I'm feeling things I haven't felt in 10 years. I'm feeling alive again. I'm feeling like maybe I could have a future that's more than just business and loneliness. I'm feeling like you and Maya could be my family, and it terrifies me because everyone I've ever loved has been taken from me or hurt because of who I am. We're already at risk just by knowing you, Luca. If people in your world know we're having dinners, they already know Maya and I exist. Running away now doesn't make us safer. It just makes us alone again." "You're right. So what do you want?" "I want to be with you, both of you. I want to wake up and know you're in my life. I want to teach Maya piano and watch her science experiments and hear about her day. I want to hold you at night and make you laugh and help carry some of the weight you've been carrying alone. I want to be a family." Diana's eyes filled with tears. "That's all I want too, but I'm scared, Luca. Scared of your world, scared of getting hurt, scared of Maya getting hurt, scared of wanting this so badly and losing it. Then let's be scared together, like Maya said that first night. Better to be scared together than scared alone." He kissed her then, there on the balcony with the city lights below and Maya sleeping safely inside. It was gentle and tender and full of promise. When they pulled apart, Diana whispered, "We still have 1 more dinner left from the original agreement. Then let's make it count." The 4th dinner never happened as planned. 3 days before the scheduled date, Luca received a call from his underboss, Marco. "Boss, we have a problem. The Calabresi family knows about the woman, about the kid. They're making noise about using them to get to you." Luca's blood ran cold. "What kind of noise?" "The kind that means they're planning something. You need to end this, Luca. Send them away, put them somewhere safe, because if the Calabresi family decides to move on them, I'll handle it. You can't handle it by keeping them close. You're making them targets." "I said I'll handle it." Luca hung up and immediately called Diana. "We need to talk now, it's important." He picked her up from her apartment in Brooklyn. Maya was at school, which was good. This conversation needed to happen without little ears listening. In his car, Luca explained the situation. Diana listened without interrupting, her face growing more pale with each word. "So I'm putting you both in danger just by being in your life," Luca finished, "which means I need to end this. I need to send you and Maya somewhere safe, away from New York, away from me. I'll set you up financially. You'll never have to work 2 jobs again, but you can't be part of my life anymore. It's too dangerous." Diana was quiet for a long moment. Then she slapped him hard. Luca's head snapped to the side, more from shock than impact. "How dare you?" Diana said, her voice shaking with fury. "How dare you make this decision for me, for us, without even asking what I want? Diana, you don't understand. No, you don't understand. I grew up in the Bronx, Luca. I know violence, I know danger. My father was shot when I was 12. My brother is in prison for gang activity. I've lived with risk my entire life, and you know what? I'm still here, Maya is still here because we're survivors. This is different, is it? Or are you just scared? Scared of losing someone again like you lost Isabella? So instead of fighting for us, you're pushing us away and telling yourself it's for our protection. Luca had no answer for that. I'm not Isabella, Diana continued, her voice softer now. I know the risks. I know what it means to be with you, and I'm choosing it anyway because love, real love, is worth fighting for, worth risking for. And if you don't believe that, then maybe Maya was wrong about you. What if something happens to you, to Maya? I couldn't survive that, Diana. I barely survived it the first time. Then we make sure nothing happens. You have resources, power, people. Use them to protect us instead of to push us away. But don't you dare tell me what I can and cannot risk. That's my choice, not yours. The Calabrese family can be dealt with. You're Luca Santoro. You've been dealing with families like them your entire life, so deal with them. But don't lose me and Maya in the process. Luca looked at this woman, this incredible woman who was refusing to run even when any sane person would. You're crazy. You know that? Maybe, but I'm not going anywhere. Neither is Maya. We're in this. All of us together. If you want us, you have us. But you have to actually want us. You have to choose us actively every day. I do want you, both of you, more than I've wanted anything in my entire life. Then fight for us. Don't run from us. Luca pulled her close and held her tight. Okay, we fight together. If you're on the edge of your seat right now, please hit that like button and subscribe. This story is about to get intense, and you won't want to miss what happens next. Luca called a meeting with the Calabrese family, neutral territory at a restaurant owned by neither family. Luca arrived with Marco and 2 other soldiers. Don Calabrese arrived with equal numbers. You wanted to meet, Don Calabrese said, his face cold. So talk. I understand you've been making inquiries about Diana Washington and her daughter. Maybe we have, maybe we haven't. What's it to you? They're under my protection, official protection. Anyone who touches them touches me, and anyone who touches me starts a war that will cost both our families everything. 1 woman and a kid, Calabrese laughed. You'd go to war over a woman and a kid? Yes. Something in Luca's voice made the laughter die. Don Calabrese studied him carefully. You're serious? Completely. This woman, this child, they're my family now, and I protect my family with everything I have. So I'm giving you a choice. Walk away, leave them alone, or start a war you won't win. You sound pretty confident for a man who's outnumbered 2 to 1 in this city. I'm confident because I've been building alliances while you've been making enemies. The Russo family backs me. The Moretti family backs me. The De Luca family backs me. So if you come for my family, you come for all of us. Is a woman and a child worth that war? Don Calabrese was quiet. Calculating, finally he spoke. What's she to you, really? You've been alone for 10 years. Suddenly you're ready to start World War III over some chef and her kid? She's everything, Luca said simply. She and her daughter are my chance at redemption, at being something more than a mob boss waiting to die. They're my family, and I will burn this city to the ground before I let anyone hurt them. You really love her? Yes, Don Calabrese leaned back in his chair. You know what, Santoro? I respect that in our world we lose sight of what matters: power, territory, money. We fight over these things like they mean something. But family, real family, that's actually worth fighting for. He extended his hand. You have my word. The woman and the kid are off limits. Anyone in my organization who goes near them answers to me personally. Luca shook his hand, relief flooding through him. Thank you. Don't thank me, just don't make me regret this. If you're going to build a family, build it right, be there for them. Don't become like the rest of us, old men with money and power and no one to share it with. After the meeting, Marco pulled Luca aside. Boss, are you sure about this? Committing to a woman, a kid, it changes everything, makes you vulnerable. I know, but Marco, I've spent 10 years being invulnerable, and you know what? It's been the loneliest 10 years of my life. I'd rather be vulnerable with people I love than safe and alone. Then I'm happy for you, boss, really. Just be careful. Not everyone will be as understanding as Calabrese. I know, which is why I need you to put extra security on Diana's apartment, on Maya's school. I want them protected 24/7. Nothing happens to them. Understand? Understood. That night, Luca went to Diana's apartment. She opened the door in sweatpants and a t-shirt, her hair in a messy bun, looking more beautiful than any woman in an evening gown. Is it handled? She asked. It's handled. Calabrese gave his word. You and Maya are safe. Diana threw her arms around him. Thank you. Thank you for fighting for us. I'll always fight for you, both of you, I promise. Maya appeared in the doorway of her bedroom, rubbing her eyes. Luca, what are you doing here? I came to see your mama and to tell you both something important. What? Luca knelt down so he was eye level with Maya. I love your mama and I love you and I want to be part of your family if you'll have me. Maya's eyes went wide. Really? You really want to be like my dad? If that's okay with you. Maya launched herself at him, hugging him so tight he could barely breathe. Yes, 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 yes. I knew you were perfect for Mama. I knew it. Over Maya's head, Luca looked at Diana, who had tears streaming down her face. "I love you," he mouthed. "I love you too," she mouthed back. 6 months later, Luca Santoro stood in a small church in Brooklyn, wearing his best suit. In the front row sat his mother, flown in from Sicily for this occasion. Beside her sat several members of his organization who'd become, over the years, more like family than employees. The music started, and Maya came down the aisle first, scattering flower petals with the kind of enthusiasm that made everyone smile. She was wearing a white dress with pink flowers, and she waved at Luca as she passed. Then Diana appeared. She wore a simple, cream-colored dress, elegant and understated. Her hair was in natural curls, a flower crown that Maya had insisted on placing on her head. She carried a bouquet of wildflowers. She was the most beautiful thing Luca had ever seen. When she reached him, she whispered, "You sure about this? Last chance to run. I've never been more sure of anything in my life." The ceremony was simple. They'd written their own vows. Diana went first. "Luca, when my daughter called you in the middle of the night and asked you to marry me, I thought it was the most embarrassing thing that had ever happened to me. But now I see it was the bravest thing she ever did, because it led me to you. You've shown me what real partnership looks like, what real love looks like. You've been a father to Maya when her own father abandoned her. You've supported my dreams, protected our family, and made me believe in happiness again. I promise to love you, to stand by you, to be your partner in everything for all the days of my life." Luca's voice was rough with emotion. "Diana, I spent 10 years alone because I thought it was safer, easier, less painful, and then a 6-year-old girl called me and asked me to marry her mother, and somehow, impossibly, I fell in love with both of you. You've given me a family, a purpose, a reason to be better than I was, Maya. You're not technically part of these vows, but you're part of this family. I promise to love you as my own daughter, to protect you, to teach you to be the father you deserve. And Diana, I promise to love you fiercely, faithfully, completely, for all the days of my life." When the priest pronounced them married, Maya jumped up and shouted, I told you they should get married." Everyone laughed. Luca kissed his wife, and then he picked up Maya and kissed her forehead. "Thank you," he whispered to her. "Thank you for calling me that night. Thank you for being brave enough to ask for what you wanted. You saved me, Piccolina." "I didn't save you," Maya whispered back. "You saved each other. That's what love does." 2 years after the wedding, Luca sat in the audience of Maya's school play. She was 8 now, playing the lead role in a production of Annie. She was singing about tomorrow with a confidence and joy that made his heart swell. Beside him, Diana was 7 months pregnant with their son. She rested her head on his shoulder, one hand on her belly. "She's amazing," Diana whispered. "She gets it from her mother. She gets it from both her parents now." Luca had officially adopted Maya a year after the wedding. The paperwork had been complicated, but he'd made it happen. Now she was Maya Santoro, legally and officially his daughter. He'd also made good on his promise to Don Calabrese. He'd walked away from the darker parts of the family business. The restaurants were all legitimate now. The other operations had been handed to Marco to run, while Luca focused on being a husband and father. It wasn't always easy. Some members of the organization resented his stepping back. Some saw it as weakness, but Luca didn't care. He'd spent 45 years building power and empire. Now he was building something more important, a family. After the play, Maya ran up to them, still in her costume. "Did you see me? Did you see? You were perfect, Bambina," Luca said, hugging her. "The best Annie I've ever seen. Better than the movie? Better than the movie." They went for ice cream after, the 3 of them sitting in a small shop in Brooklyn, eating sundaes and laughing, just a regular family doing regular things. "Luca," Maya said suddenly, "can I ask you something? Always. Are you glad I called you that night, even though it was crazy and I stole Mama's phone and woke you up at 2 in the morning?" Luca looked at this little girl who'd changed his entire life with one phone call. "Maya, that phone call was the best thing that ever happened to me. It gave me everything I didn't know I was missing. It gave me your mother. It gave me you. It gave me a reason to be better. So yes, I'm glad. More glad than I can possibly express. Good, because sometimes I worry that you wouldn't have been happy if I hadn't called, that you'd still be sad and alone. I would have been, but you saved me from that. You saw that your mama and I both needed someone, and you were brave enough to do something about it. That took courage, Piccolina. Mama says courage is doing the right thing even when you're scared. Your mama is very wise." Maya grinned. "I know. That's why I picked her for you." 5 years after that phone call, Luca Santoro stood in his penthouse, now filled with the chaos of family life. Toys on the floor, Maya's homework on the dining table, his son, Carlo, toddling around in diapers, babbling in a mix. of English and Italian, Diana was in the kitchen making dinner. She'd taken a step back from the restaurant to focus on the family. Though she still consulted on the menu and visited weekly, she was singing along to the radio, swaying her hips, looking more relaxed and happy than Luca had ever seen her. Maya was 13 now, a teenager with her mother's grace and Luca's stubborn determination. She was doing her homework at the table, occasionally, stopping to play with her baby brother. It was chaos, it was messy, it was loud, it was perfect. Luca's phone rang, unknown number. For a moment, he was transported back to that night 7 years ago, another unknown number at an inconvenient time. He answered, "Hello, Mr. Santoro. My name is Tommy and I'm 7 years old and my sister is really sad because our dad left and I thought maybe you could help because my teacher, Mrs. Rodriguez, says you helped her niece Maya one time." And Luca started laughing. He laughed so hard he had to sit down. "What's so funny?" Diana asked, coming over. "It's another kid, calling to ask for help, like Maya did 7 years ago." Diana grinned. "What are you going to do?" "What do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to help because a smart little girl taught me 7 years ago that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is ask for help, and sometimes the bravest thing you can do is say yes." He put the phone back to his ear. "Tommy, tell me about your sister and then tell me where you live. We're going to figure this out together." Maya looked up from her homework, beaming with pride. "That's my dad," she said to Carlo, who was too young to understand but smiled anyway. "He saves people just like he saved us." But Luca knew the truth. He hadn't saved them. They'd saved him, a little girl brave enough to steal her mother's phone and call a stranger at 2 in the morning, a woman brave enough to say yes to a complicated, dangerous man with a dark past, a family brave enough to choose love over safety, connection over isolation. They'd saved him from a life of loneliness and emptiness. They'd given him purpose, joy, and a reason to be better than he'd been, and now he'd pay it forward, one phone call at a time, one family in need at a time, because that's what you do when you've been saved. You save someone else. 10 years after that first phone call, Maya Santoro stood at her high school graduation, giving the valedictorian speech. Luca sat in the audience with Diana, Carlo, now 7, and their newest addition, Isabella, named after Luca's first love, with Diana's blessing. "When I was 6 years old," Maya said, her voice clear and strong, "I did something crazy. I stole my mother's phone and called a man I'd never met and asked him to marry her. Everyone told me later how inappropriate that was, how I could have called a dangerous person, how I put my mother in an awkward position." She smiled. "But you know what? It worked. That man became my father. He saved my mother from working herself to death. He saved me from growing up without a father, and I'd like to think we saved him too, from loneliness, from emptiness, from a life that had power but no purpose." She looked directly at Luca. "Dad, thank you for answering the phone that night. Thank you for saying yes to a crazy 6-year-old's request. Thank you for being the father I didn't know I needed. Everything good in my life started with that phone call, so I guess what I'm saying to everyone here is, be brave, ask for what you need, make the crazy phone call, take the ridiculous risk, because you never know. It might just change your entire life." The audience erupted in applause. Luca was crying openly, not caring who saw. Diana leaned against him, crying too. "She's amazing," Diana whispered. "She gets it from you. She gets it from us, from this family we built together." After the ceremony, Maya ran to them, her graduation cap flying off in her excitement. "I did it! I'm going to Columbia. I'm going to study social work so I can help families like you helped us." Luca hugged her tight. "I'm so proud of you, Bambina. So incredibly proud. I'm proud of you too, Dad. You gave up everything you were to become who we needed you to be. That's the bravest thing I've ever seen." That night, back at home with the whole family together, Luca stood on his balcony one last time, looking at the city that had been his kingdom, his prison, and finally, his home. His phone rang, another unknown number. He smiled and answered, "Hello, this is Luca. Santoro, how can I help you?" Because that's what he did now. He helped. One phone call at a time, one family at a time, one little girl brave enough to ask for what she needed at a time, and it had all started with a 6-year-old who'd stolen her mother's phone at 2 in the morning and asked a stranger to marry her mama. Sometimes the craziest ideas are actually the wisest ones. Sometimes a desperate phone call is actually a prayer being answered. Sometimes a little girl's wish for her mother's happiness changes not just 2 lives, but 3. And sometimes, just sometimes, the man you call at 2 in the morning turns out to be exactly the father you'd been praying for all along. The end. If this story touched your heart, please like, subscribe, and share it. Drop a comment. Have you ever taken a crazy risk that paid off? Have you ever been brave enough to ask for what you really needed? What would you have done if you'd received Maya's phone call? This is a story about the courage to ask for help, about finding family in unexpected places, about being brave enough to say yes to love even when it's complicated and messy and dangerous. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. See you in the next story.